Hello, today we're going to see how to define and use zero and negative exponents. Okay, and we have different properties for exponents, and we have already seen some other properties of exponents, but today we're going to work just with zero and negative exponents. Okay, and here we're going to refresh the properties we have already worked with. We have already worked all the ones that are involved with products, and all the ones that are involved in quotients. So if we have it like this, now we're going to work with the ones that are involved with zeros and negative exponents. Okay, so let's start with some examples. But the zero exponents tells us that when you have any number raised with the zero exponent, this means the value is equal to 0. Any number that is not 0 raised to the power of 0 equals 1. Now, when you have negative exponents, any number raised to the negative exponent is just the same as having 1 over a raised to the power of n. This means what you're going to do to take away the negative exponent is move it to a fraction in the denominator. So now, yes, let's go and see some examples. Now in here, I have that my property tells me that when we work with zero exponents, I have a raised to the power of 0 equals 1. Having it like this, I'm going to see my first example. My first example tells me 9 raised to the power of 0. And what I'm going to do, every single number raised to the power of 0 is 1. So this means my answer is 1. Now let's see another one. In this case, I have 2 raised to the power of 0 over 4. But the 0 exponent is just for the 2, it's not for the 4. So this means the only one I'm going to solve is the 2 raised to the power of 0. And how much is any number raised to the power of 0? 1. This way I'm going to have 1 over 4. And if I cannot simplify it more, I'm leaving it until there. Now, my next example. X raised to the power of 2 over x raised to the power of 0. And here, my x raised to the power of 2, I cannot simplify it more. But my x raised to the power of 0, well, is 1. So this way, I'm going to have x raised to the power of 2 over 1. Now, any number that has a denominator 1 is a whole number. So I'm going to take away this 1, and I'm going to have x raised to the power of 2. Now, let's see more examples of this. 4 over 5 raised to the power of 0. The 0 is raising all the power of the fraction. And if you remember the quotient's properties, one of the quotient properties tells me that if a fraction is involved on one exponent, the exponent will work with each of the terms I have inside. This way, I'm going to have 4 raised to the power of 0 over 5 raised to the power of 0. So I have, how much is 4 raised to the power of 0? Well, any number raised to the power of 0 is 1. So I'm going to have 1. And 5 raised to the power of 0, again I apply my property and I'm going to have 1. This way I have 1 over 1, and 1 over 1 is 1. So I have it like this. Now, my next example. Y raised to the power of 0 over y raised to the power of 5. I can simplify my y raised to the power of 0, and I'm going to have 1. So this way, I have 1 raised over y raised to the power of 5. And if I cannot simplify it more, I'll leave it until there. Now, and here I have another example. Negative 7 raised to the power of 7. And everything on here raised to the power of 0. So I apply my power of a power property. That my power of a power property tells me that when two numbers are raised to the exponents, what I'm going to do is multiply my exponents. So in this case, I'll multiply my 7 with the 0. And I'm going to have it like this. Negative 7 raised to the power of 7 times 0. And how much is 7 times 0? Well, it's 0. So I have negative 7 raised to the power of 0. And I apply my property. my property tells me any single number raised to the power of 0 is 1, except the ones that are 0. So, is -7 any single number? Yes, it doesn't matter that it's negative. I'm going to also apply my property, and I'm going to have that this equals 1. Now that we see how to work with zero exponents, we're going to see how to work with negative exponents. And I'm going to remember you the negative exponents property that tells us that any number that is raised to a negative exponent is just the same as having this one over this number with a positive exponent. Why? Because we apply in here the reciprocal property, that we move this a over n, this a raised to the power of n, on here as a positive, because on this side was a negative. So now, let's see one example. 3 raised to the power of -3. I apply my property, and what I'm going to do is apply my same numbers, just that now I take away my negative value, and I have now my numerator as 1. 1 over 3 raised to the power of 3. I can simplify more this, yes or no? Yes, I can. So I simplify, and I have 3 raised to the power of 3 is 27. Now, let's see another example. Y raised to the power of -2 over y raised to the power of 5. And I can simplify more this one. Why? Because I have in here a fraction. So I apply my property, and I have in here 1 over y raised to the power of 2, because I apply my property that tells me that when I have a negative exponent, I move it to my denominator in a positive exponent. So I have it on here. 1 over y raised to the power of 2 times 1 over y raised to the power of 5. But here I have the same base of the denominator. So what I'm going to do is look on here. Well, I can add my exponents because my values are multiplying. And this is one of the properties that are involved in products. So when I add my exponents, I'm going to have it like this. 1 over y, 2 plus 5. I add the 2 and the 5, and I'm going to have 1 over y raised to the power of 7. Having it like this, can I simplify it more? No, I cannot. So this means it will be my final answer. Now, let's see another example with negative exponents. 4 over 5 raised to the power of -2. I'm going to apply my property of the product of the quotients that tells me that in here my exponents will be applied to everything inside my parentheses, just like this. 4 raised to the power of -2 and 5 raised to the power of -2. So what I'm going to do? Well, I have two values with negative numbers, and both of them are in a fraction. So the easiest way is just make it reciprocal. What does reciprocal mean? Changing the value you have in the numerator to the denominator, and the value you have in the denominator to the numerator. Just like this. 5 raised to the power of 2 over 4 raised to the power of 2. I make my reciprocal. And now I have it like this. Now, can I simplify this? Yes, I can. So I'm going to have 5 raised to the power of 2, how much it is? And 4 raised to the power of 2, how much it is? This way I have 25 over 16. But in here, I have an improper fraction. So I'm going to make my mixed number. Making my mixed number, I can see that these values cannot be simplified anymore. So I leave it until there. My answer for this fractions raised to the negative exponents will be 9 over 16. Okay? Now, let's see another example. 3 raised to the power of -3. And this is all raised to the power of 2. I apply my power of a power property that tells me that I'm going to multiply my exponents. -3 times 2. Multiplying this, I'm going to have, how much is -3 times 2? Well, it's 6. So I have 3 raised to the power of -6. And can I simplify more this? Yes, because in here my property tells me that it will be on the denominator. So I have 3 raised to the power of -6. Now, 1 over 3 raised to the power of 6. Can I simplify more this? Yes, because if I multiply my 3 6 times, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, I'm going to have 729. So this means my answer is 1 over 729. And can I simplify more this? No, I cannot. So my answer will be this one. Now, let's see our last examples with negative exponents. 2 raised to the power of negative 8 times 2 raised to the power of 7. What I'm going to do? My exponent property tells me that when I have two same base numbers multiplying, I need to add my values. So I'm going to add negative 8 plus 7. And how much is negative 8 plus 7? Well, it's negative 1. So I have 2 raised to the power of negative 1. But I can simplify more this one. Yes, I can. Apply my property that now I'm going to move it to my denominator. So I'm going to have 1 over 2 raised to the power of 1. But I need to have my 2 raised to the power of 1? No, I need to simplify it. And how much is 2 just raised to the power of 1? Is 2. So my answer is 1 over 2, or 1 whole. Now let's see our last example of negative exponents. Negative 4 raised to the power of negative 2, and this is also raised to the power of negative 3. Now what I'm going to do? Well, my power for power property tells me that I need to multiply my exponents. So I'm going to have it like this. Negative 4 is raised to the power of negative 2 times negative 3. So I multiply negative 2 times negative 3. This gives me positive 6. So I have negative 4 raised to the power of 6. Now, can I simplify more this? Yes, I can. Because I can multiply my negative 4 6 times. And multiplying 6 times, I'll get 4,096. But my exponent was positive, so that's the reason why I leave it until here. Now, let's see some of these ones that involve both of them. Involve applying the zero exponents and involve applying the negative exponents. So, let's see in here. I have 5 raised to the power of 3 over 5 raised to the power of 3. What does this mean? That one of my quotient properties tells me that when I have a fraction with the same base numbers, I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to have 5 raised to the power of 3 minus 3. Having it like this, I subtract my values and I'm going to have 5 raised to the power of 0. Now, can I simplify more this? Yes, I can. I apply my zero exponents property and I have that every number raised to the power of 0 is 1. Having it like this, what I'm going to do is 1. So this means that 5 raised to the power of 3 over 5 raised to the power of 3 is 1. Now let's see another example. 9 raised to the power of 0 times 9 raised to the power of negative 2. I have those same base numbers, so I apply one of my product's property that tells me that I need to add my exponents. So I'm going to add it like this. I just copy my base 9 and I add 0 plus negative 2. And how much is 0 plus negative 2? Well, it's just negative 2. So I had 9 raised to the power of negative 2. And can I simplify this? Yes, I can. I apply this negative exponents property that tells me that every single number raised to the negative exponents will be now in the denominator as a positive value. 1 over 9 raised to the power of 2. And 9 raised to the power of 2, can I simplify? Yes. 9 raised to the power of 2 is 81. So I have 1 over 81. And can I simplify more of this? No, I cannot. So, on here, this will be my final answer. Thanks for watching, and if you have any doubt about how to apply an exponents, you can see the other videos or you can leave it on the commentaries with questions. So, I hope you understand it really well and you can subscribe to our channel.